I think we certainly know that the risks from COVID run very clearly with age. With each decade of age, your risk of dying or serious illness goes up 5 to 10-fold. So there's very little direct benefit from protecting younger children against infection with COVID. They're unlikely to get seriously ill. The frequency with which they get long COVID is about, I suppose, a half to a third of the frequency with which adults get it. And I think we have to be clear that long COVID in many ways is not a unique phenomenon. You see similar post-viral syndromes with other respiratory diseases that we normally tolerate in the education setting. The other trouble that I have with vaccinating, and Bharat has highlighted the precedent of giving influenza vaccine to children, but there's another precedent that I might bring up, which is that of chickenpox. We don't give chickenpox vaccination to children because we know very well that it's better to get chickenpox when you're younger, when you're much more likely to have a mild disease, than when you get into your 20s, 30s, 40s, when you can get a severe disease and pneumonia. We're in a similar position here, is what I'm worried about with COVID. If we give it to 4-year-olds, we may find by the time they get to 64 or 54, when they really will be at risk of serious complications, their immunity will have waned. One thing we do know from the studies that have been done thus far is that, as with most infections, natural infection does seem to produce a more enduring immunity, certainly when combined with vaccination, than vaccination alone. That's been reported from a few parts of the world. So I, therefore, I'm very wary about extensive and global vaccination of children.
The SARS-CoV-2 virus does cause infections in all age groups. The point is that in the younger age groups, it may not cause severe disease. The key point is may. But the point is, yes, young children do get infected, and young children, as a result of being infected, may go on to have long COVID, and they may also infect others, meaning generate more cases. Yes. So
when you say may,
no, and
when you say may, I mean this is a quite a vague word, isn't it? Really?
Well, yes, but if you let me finish, then I'll give you the full picture. So whilst we've been led to believe that young children are not infectious, I disagree, because if we look at the heat maps generated when the schools reopened last summer, last autumn, after the last summer, you notice that the infections start from the younger age groups, then they go on to the older age groups, and then the elderly, and so on. So without a doubt, schools are a focus for generating new cases. And if you had an immunized population in that arena there, an immunized person is less infectious. A less infectious person is going to generate fewer new cases. Furthermore, an immunized person is also protected. And there's two levels of protection here. One, protection from infection, but the other bit is protection from long COVID as well, because this is an odd infection whereby not only do you get an infection, but you can also, after your infection, get long COVID. So there are many parameters and many reasons to immunize and immunize extensively.